The Boston Bruins remain in a state of turmoil as they travel to Nashville to take on the Predators. All that and more on today's episode of Locked On Boston Bruins.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Bruins fans, and welcome back to the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things Spoke to Be, as well as take a look around the NHL. Today is Thursday, December 2nd, and this episode is brought to you by StatHero, the first of its kind daily fantasy sports platform where it's you versus the house in head-to-head fantasy matchups. Winner takes all. Sign up for free right now at stathero.com/hockey. And use promo code hockey for a 100% deposit match. Thank you so much for making Locked On Boston Bruins your first listen every day. We are free and available on all podcast platforms as well as YouTube. So please do subscribe. Like I mentioned yesterday, November was the highest download month in the history of the podcast, 2+ years now. And hopefully we can make December even bigger. If you're on Twitter, you can follow the podcast at Locked NHL Bruins. Same handle on Instagram. You can find me, my dad jokes, hockey tweets at Ian C. McLaren. It's been almost 16 years since I first began formally blogging about the Boston Bruins. The Joe Thornton trade was the impetus for doing so. A lifelong fan since the Cam Neely, Ray Bourque days, and I can't remember a week like this one that we're in the midst of. I'm sure there has been stuff, but it's been a while since the Bruins were kind of at the center of the news cycle. Maybe not the center, but there's just been so much going on this week, and let's get you caught up on what exactly is happening. Let's begin with the latest on Jake DeBrusk. According to TSN Hockey Insider Darren Dreger, he says as many as 12 teams, maybe even more than 12 teams, have already checked in on the Jake DeBrusk situation with the Boston Bruins. The reality is the Bruins now need him in their lineup. Brad Marchand suspended. AHL team in Providence is dealing with COVID issues, and so they need him on the ice. He will presumably be in the lineup tonight against the Predators unless a trade happens today. He said the Rangers are among the teams that have expressed some interest. The Vancouver Canucks, maybe Montreal, maybe Calgary, certainly Arizona. When there's been Jake DeBrusk trade speculations in the past, the St. Louis Blues have been near the top of that list. You talk about a kid who could score 20 to 25. He scored 16 times in the playoffs. That stuff matters. So whether or not this is factual or whether or not, let's keep in mind in the objectivity, Jake DeBrusk's father is a member of hockey media. He calls games for the Vancouver Canucks. Certainly a lot of contacts up here in Canada, so perhaps this 12 number is being put out there in order to kind of put pressure on the Bruins to say, you have all these offers. What are you waiting for? Just pick the best one and go for it. Or maybe Don Sweeney is saying, offers aren't coming in quite that quickly, and let's take our time here and make the right move for the Boston Bruins. There are, of course, those logistical things to take into account with Marchand suspended, Bleed out with an injury, and nobody able to be called up from Providence. If they were to make a trade, say today, they'd have to make sure they can ice a lineup for tonight. And that would mean either going 11 forward, 7D, maybe put Connor Clifton up on the wing. So they have to take that into account for sure. They'll be back at home to play Tampa Bay on Saturday before heading out for a Western Canadian road trip. There's going to be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday where the Bruins will be off. So perhaps that is when we might see a trade. And of course, that will be when Brad Marchand will be eligible to return as well. Speaking of returns, I failed to mention yesterday that there has been, a few developments along the Tuukka Rask timeline. General Manager Don Sweeney addressed the media on Tuesday, said there's been a general understanding that Tuukka has to make a decision on his health first and foremost. When he's able to do that officially and declare himself that this is what he wants to do and play, then we'll find common ground. The Bruins have not hidden from the fact that if he is indeed healthy and wants to play, he's likely to be part of our group. Rask has upped his on-ice training in recent days. He's been working with the Bruins staff and goaltenders as of late. I think he's up to 5 days a week skating after undergoing hip surgery in the offseason and a bit of a rehab period. If indeed he is re-signed and comes back, it would likely mean that Jeremy Swayman would be sent to the AHL for further development, which might not necessarily be a bad thing. He is still fairly young, very limited pro experience. Of the tandem of Ullmark and Swayman, Sweeney said they've been okay. Both of them have really, really strong pockets of games, other times where they haven't played quite as well, and as they would like in some situations. They have higher expectations for everybody in the lineup in that sense, and Linus and Jeremy would probably not say it any differently than he has. They have some growing pains associated with that position this season, more inconsistency than anything else, and that's partly due to the schedule. Days off between games doesn't help anybody. But Sweeney believes they're still in a good place overall with goaltending and depth. And if it's something they have to address, they will. And the obvious candidate is Tuukka Rask and his return. So, his progression would be to continue to ramp up through December, maybe a January return, perhaps after the Olympics if he goes and represents Finland, if NHL players do indeed go. And, we'll see if there is indeed a fit there, if they have the cap space to make it work. If Jake DeBrusk is traded for futures, then that would clear some space. But it certainly looks as though if Rask is ready and able, that the Bruins will gladly welcome him back into the fold, and I am totally fine with that. I would love to have Tuukka Rask back, even if it means sending Swayman to the AHL for a touch. Not the end of the world for his career by any stretch of the imagination. Now, nobody plays daily fantasy sports to lose. Winning feels so much better, but traditional fantasy sports are a long-term losing proposition because you never know who or what you're up against. StatHero is the first of its kind daily fantasy sports platform where it's you versus the house in head-to-head fantasy matchups. Winner takes all. The best part, they show you their lineup in advance so you can handpick the team you want to face one-on-one. This never before seen innovation of a fantasy sports betting hybrid has StatHero players clocking odds that are over 4 times better. Because you don't have to compete against thousands of experts or unknowns. You're in control of the stakes. You decide how much you're going to pay for, and StatHero has no choice but to take it because they're daring you to beat them. StatHero head-to-head is what daily fantasy should be, one-on-one. Here's the lineup you're up against in the Real Uncle Paulie Centers Only contest. Evgeny Kuznetsov, Sebastian Aho, and Elias Lindholm, projected for 55.10 points. You can go in, sign up for free right now at stathero.com/hockey, and pick a team of centers to go against those three. You can use promo code hockey for a 100% deposit match. That's stathero.com/hockey. Use promo code hockey for a 100% match. stathero.com/hockey. Promo code hockey. Terms and conditions apply. Thank you once again for making Locked On Boston Bruins your first listen every day. Again, we are free and available on all platforms, and I very much appreciate all of you who take some time to download, listen to the podcasts. and send in comments, questions. I got a couple mailbag questions out of the blue, which I'll try to address at some point. And thank you again so much for all the support. Excuse me, quick coffee fueling there. All right, now let's get to tonight's game against the Nashville Predators. The Bruins practiced on Wednesday. Sans Patrice Bergeron. Joe Sacco, who's filling in for Bruce Cassidy, said the Bruins captain is expected to be in the lineup against the Predators tonight. Just a general maintenance day. He did take a puck off his foot or ankle the other night, so that probably was bothering him. There were some different line combinations with Bergeron out, but a trio that had a strong outing together in Sunday's win over Vancouver was Nick Foligno, Trent Frederick, and Carson Kuhlman. Erik Haula bumped up to skate with Charlie Coyle and Craig Smith on the left side, with Taylor Hall bumped up on the first line because of the absence of Brad Marchand due to suspension. Now, Erik Haula has been scratched in recent games, and sometimes that can help to act as a bit of a reset for players struggling to find their games. He was a healthy scratch for the win over the Canucks on Sunday. He did return to the lineup for the loss against Detroit. He said he kind of had a stretch where he wasn't happy with his game himself, didn't really recognize the player that was out there. It was probably good to sit a game, reset a little bit, and now work to get back to his game, which was more of what he brought on Tuesday against the Red Wings, skating, more confident with the puck, harder on the puck. That was his emphasis, and he thought it was a good step in the right direction. He feels like he's been in the league long enough that he's seen all the situations there are. He believes it was warranted in a sense to sit and watch from the press box. Wasn't where he needs to be, wasn't playing the way the team needs him to play. And it took, again, as a bit of a reset, start over, find his game, and make it look like it's supposed to. He signed, of course, a 2-year deal with the Bruins on the opening day of free agency. Started strong in the preseason, teamed up with Jake DeBrusk and Nick Foligno on the third line. But they struggled to produce offensively, and Foligno went on to miss a stretch of 8 games with injury, so that messed things up. Of course, the schedule didn't help. Again, that consistency that Sweeney was talking about in regards to the goaltending, that affected everybody. So again, it was a good reset, clear his head a little bit, take a breath, get his focus back. And he said that's usually worked for him in the past. And hopefully it carries over to tonight's game against Nashville, his old team. He did record 3 shots on goal against the Red Wings while centering DeBrusk and Lazar. Sacco said he played well on Tuesday. He was skating well. He held onto the puck at times in the offensive zone. Definitely some things that he could build off. He showed that he had an ability to make some plays, and that's what they want. Some confidence with the puck down low, get his feet moving in the offensive zone, and make some plays. Now, Sacco, of course, remains behind the bench for the Boston Bruins as the bench boss, as Bruce Cassidy is still dealing with some mild COVID-19 symptoms. His return is still up in the air, but he is feeling okay. And it's not taking him down, is what Sacco said of Bruce Cassidy. Now, Sacco, it's been 8 years since he last served as a head coach. He said it's different seeing it as a head coach as opposed to an assistant coach. You're watching certain situations as the guy that's running the bench, trying to oversee everything that's going on in the game. As the game went on, it started to come back to him, and he complimented skating and skills coach Kim Brandfold for his transition to the bench on Tuesday night. Did a good job, seemed pretty comfortable as the game went on. again, it's such a tumultuous week for the Boston Bruins. This was the last thing they needed, was their coach to go down, be missing due to COVID-19. But that's the world we're living in right now, and they're trying to make the best of it. And hopefully they can take advantage of the Nashville Predators tonight and get back on the winning side of things. Nashville, so far, they have a record of 12-9-1 through 22 games, a .568 point percentage, plus 1 goal differential. They have a very talented goaltender in UC Saros, who the Bruins need to make it difficult on in order to succeed. Can't keep hanging out on the perimeter. Have to really, get that net front presence going and see if they can, really try to make things difficult for him and get those perhaps ugly, scrappy goals that they need to get going. Again, the Bruins still first in the NHL in terms of expected goals for, slightly ahead of the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's at 5-on-5. Shots for, they are sixth in the NHL. When it comes to shot attempts for, they are fourth in the NHL. Again, we talked the other day about high danger shot attempts. They're still, they're fifth in that category. High danger goals for, that is when they are really down. They're at 25. So, they really need to start getting into those dirty areas. 5.95 shooting percentage at 5-on-5, which is 31st in the NHL. 90.84 save percentage at 5-on-5, which is 29th in the NHL. So, they're getting the puck on net. They're out shooting the opposition quite regularly, but it's those high danger chances, those, there's that kind of home plate area in front of the net that they really have to get the puck into, and making it difficult for the opposition to clear pucks, for the goalie to see the puck. And hopefully they can make that happen tonight. And that would be a great place for a guy like Erik Haula to start, just getting right in there and seeing if they can make something happen there. So, just a crazy week for the Boston Bruins so far. Hopefully there are no further COVID cases. I mentioned Tyler Bertuzzi tested positive for COVID. The Bruins played the Red Wings the other night. He was not vaccinated. And with Providence being shut down, any injuries or positive tests for the Bruins really make things difficult in terms of, call-ups and injury replacements. Connor Clifton could play forward in a pinch, but that would be kind of less than ideal, certainly. So I'll keep you posted on any lineup changes for tonight's game. Please do follow Locked NHL Bruins on Twitter or at Ian McLaren for all the latest on that. And hopefully the Bruins can ice a near complete lineup for tonight's game, minus, of course, Brad Marchand, and still including Jake DeBrusk. Now, if you have a beard, it's time to get primal. If you or someone has a beard, they need to get primal. Maybe you're that person who has never considered the benefits of treating your beard with product. Well, Primal Origin Oils will stop the itch and make your beard look healthy and groomed. They help others look good and live healthier lives through the use of natural oils. The products are free from harmful synthetic ingredients and have a low impact on the environment. Check out primaloriginoils.com to learn more about their full line of beard care products. Use code LOCKEDON for a 20% discount at checkout. Their combo kits make a great holiday gift, and if you're shopping for yourself, you'll be glad you did. I got some of the whipped butter myself for when I get my beard in. Excited to try it out. Most companies focus on fragrance, and that leads the product to not feel good on your skin. But Primal Origin Oils, they stepped back, focused on the ingredients to ensure a product that feels great and still smells fantastic. Primal Origin Oils challenges you to compare their ingredients and feel and beard to the other companies you've used. We promise you'll see and feel the difference. Use promo code LOCKEDON to get 20% off at primaloriginoils.com. BetOnline has you covered all season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. As football continues its march to the playoffs, it's your number one spot for all the sports action this season. Head to their new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Use promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus. For basketball, football, hockey, boxing, UFC, they have you covered with all kinds of amazing offers for this season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. That's BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, now, it's a crazy busy week for the Bruins, so I haven't been able to update the Atlantic Division power rankings. Not much has changed. Bruins, I would still put in fourth behind the big three of the Panthers, Lightning, Maple Leafs. They are 5 points back of the Red Wings after the loss the other night, but the Bruins still do have the advantage when it comes to point percentage, 579 compared to 563. They also have a +4 goal differential compared to -8 for the Detroit Red Wings. But when I have more time, we will update those power rankings. Now, the Bruins, of course, do need some help down the middle. And there's some speculation in Philadelphia that Claude Giroux could become available. He would be a great pickup. He's expected to become an unrestricted free agent next summer. And for me, he would be an amazing pickup for the Boston Bruins, a guy who is looking to obviously win a cup before he retires and still has quite a bit left in the tank offensively. He does have a cap hit of $8.275 million for the balance of this season, so that could be prohibitive. Maybe Philly would have to retain some salary. He does have 18 points through 21 games this season, and I would say he would be a great pickup for the Bruins if they're able to clear some space or if Philly can retain. Of course, Jake DeBrusk rumors still dominating. Ben Kuzma of the Vancouver province suggests the Canucks might look at him. It might mean Tanner Pearson coming back. He's in the first year of a 3-year, $9.75 million contract. He does have a no trade clause this season. And I don't know. I don't mind Tanner Pearson, but he definitely isn't quite the offensive threat that even DeBrusk can be. 10 goals, 8 assists in 51 games last season, 4 goals, 4 assists this season, 29-year-old. He was drafted 30th overall in 2010, so he's older than DeBrusk, a bit cheaper, and there is some control there, but again, he would have to agree to a deal in order to come to the Boston Bruins. Let's see what else is going on around the NHL. Of course, the Olympics, we're going to have to keep a closer eye on that as the months go on, seeing as there are more and more cases of COVID around the NHL, meaning, it's going to be difficult for players perhaps to get over there. The Islanders are coming back from their COVID-induced pause. They're scheduled to play the Sharks tonight, so hopefully that game goes on and that they can continue to contain this. Bruce Cassidy, a candidate to be a coach for Team Canada. In fact, I believe, he was already named an assistant coach for Team Canada. So I'm not sure what this positive test or COVID case will mean for him, but hopefully he's still able to go if the Bruins are indeed, or if NHL players are allowed to go to the Olympics. Anyways, that is it for today's episode. Again, we'll get back to the power rankings when we can, but just so much Bruins news going on this week. I hope you're all doing well, having a good week. Like I said yesterday, very much enjoyed the birthday getaway, and now we're back at it. Be watching the game tonight for sure, and we'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of Locked On Boston Bruins. part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite team every single day. Take care, friends.